The U.S. horizon appeared suddenly on deep space monitoring systems after 15 years of absence. What had once been Earth's proudest exploration vessel, the first to venture beyond the outer planets, had vanished without explanation during its maiden voyage. Now it hung silently at the edge of the solar system, transformed and unresponsive. Commander Hannah Park stood on the bridge of the military vessel Dauntless, staring at the holographic display showing the return ship. Her hands trembled slightly before she clasped them behind her back. Still no response to communications, Lieutenant Jin Kim reported, his voice tight with tension. The ship isn't broadcasting any distress signals either. Hannah nodded, her face carefully composed despite the storm of emotions within her. 15 years ago, her brother Du-Yoon had been the Horizon's navigation officer. The loss had nearly destroyed her family. "Magnify the hull," she ordered. The image zoomed in, revealing details that sent murmurs rippling across the bridge. The Horizon's exterior was no longer the smooth titanium alloy shell it had been. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, metallic growths arranged in mathematical precision that seemed to subtly shift when not directly observed. "What are those?" Hannah whispered. "Unknown, Commander," replied Science Officer Min Ji-yu. "The patterns don't match any known human design or alien technology in our database." Admiral Sung's voice came through on the command channel. "Park, you're authorized to conduct boarding operations. Approach with extreme caution. We need answers, not heroes." 6 hours later, Hannah led a team of 12 through the Horizon's airlock. The familiar layout of the ship's interior was gone, replaced by corridors that seemed to bend according to impossible geometries. Surfaces gleamed with a bluish metallic substance that pulsed with faint light. "Life support is functioning," reported Security Chief Da Choi, studying his scanner. "Gravity, temperature, and atmospheric composition, all within human norms. Almost like it's expecting us," Minji observed quietly. The team moved deeper into the ship, mapping as they went. Standard doors had been replaced with iris-like openings that dilated as they approached. The walls themselves seemed almost alive, vibrating slightly under their touch. "I'm detecting a single human life sign," Day announced suddenly. 2 decks up, in what used to be the research lab. The journey to the lab took them through spaces that defied normal physics, rooms that seemed larger inside than their external dimensions should allow, corridors that curved back on themselves despite maintaining a straight line. When they finally reached the lab, the door spiraled open without prompting. Inside, a man sat at a workstation surrounded by floating displays of incomprehensible data. He turned, smiling calmly. "Dr. Towley," Hannah breathed, recognizing the Horizon's former quantum physicist. The man looked exactly as he had in mission photos from 15 years ago, not a day older, his face unlined, his black hair showing no hints of gray. He wore what had once been a standard expedition uniform, now integrated with the same metallic substance that covered the ship. "Commander Park," he replied, his voice oddly harmonious. "Du-Yoon's sister. He spoke of you often." Hannah's hand tightened on her weapon. "Where is the rest of the crew? What happened to this ship?" Tay's smile remained unchanged. "The crew is here, just not in the way you understand here." "And the ship?" He gestured to the transformed surroundings. "The ship was remade, as we were." "Remade by whom?" Minji asked. "We call them the architects," Tay replied. "They exist in spaces between conventional dimensions. They found us when we were dying, trapped in a spatial anomaly our instruments couldn't even detect." Hannah stepped forward. "My brother, is he alive?" Tai tilted his head, considering the question with unnatural stillness. "Alive is a limited concept. Du-Yoon exists, but not as you remember him." Security Chief Da's scanner suddenly emitted a series of urgent beeps. "Commander, the ship's systems are activating. Energy readings are spiking throughout the vessel." Ta looked unsurprised. "The Horizon has returned for a reason. Commander Park, Earth needs what we've brought back." "And what exactly have you brought back?" Hannah demanded. Tay's eyes seemed to shift color slightly as he answered. "The future. Protection. A gift the architects believe humanity is finally ready to receive." His expression grew serious. "And just in time. We aren't the only ones who know Earth exists now." The ship hummed around them, systems awakening after 15 years, transformed beyond human understanding by beings that existed beyond conventional space. And somewhere within its impossible architecture, Hannah thought, her brother waited, changed, but perhaps not gone. A field of bright white tents now surrounded the horizon where it rested in the Nevada desert. Armed guards patrolled the perimeter while scientists from every nation worked inside around the clock. 3 weeks had passed since the ship's return, and Earth's governments had reluctantly agreed to a joint research effort after several solo attempts to understand the technology had failed spectacularly. Dr. Yun Choi wiped sweat from her forehead as she studied the metal sample under her microscope. As head of materials research, she had spent countless hours trying to understand the substance that now covered most of the horizon. "It's simply impossible," she muttered to her assistant. "The atomic structure keeps shifting whenever we try to analyze it." Across the room, Dr. Ta Li sat calmly, watching their efforts with a small smile. Despite intensive questioning, he revealed little about the architects or how the ship had been transformed. He was kept under constant surveillance but offered no resistance. Commander Hannah Park entered the lab, her uniform crisp despite the desert heat. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed her lack of sleep. "Any progress?" she asked Dunn. The scientist sighed. "The material isn't just advanced, it defies our understanding of physics. When we apply electrical current, it generates 5 times the energy we put in. When we cut a sample, both pieces return to their original mass within hours. And that's just the hull," added Dr. Jun Kim, the propulsion specialist. He pointed to his computer models. "The engine, if we can even call it that, doesn't use any fuel we can detect. It seems to create spatial distortions that pull the ship forward rather than pushing it." Taz spoke up from his corner. "You're thinking too linearly. The ship doesn't move through space. It moves space around itself." Hannah approached him. "And how exactly does it do that?" "Thought," Tay replied simply. "Consciousness directs the ship. The architects believe separation between mind and matter is an illusion." Jun scoffed. "That's not science. That's mysticism." Tay's unnerving smile didn't falter. "Try it. Connect your brainwave monitors to the navigation panel." After getting approval, the team cautiously followed Ta's suggestion. When Jun reluctantly placed his hands on the transformed control panel while wearing the monitors, the nearby screens flickered to life with streams of data. "Impossible," Jun whispered as the ship's systems responded directly to his thoughts. Outside the research zone, the world was changing. Amateur astronomers reported unusual movements among the stars, objects changing course to move toward Earth. 3 different space agencies confirmed the approach of vessels that hadn't been there before. In Washington, Commander Park sat in a tense meeting with military and government officials. 4 alien vessels have entered the outer solar system, Admiral Wong reported. "They're not responding to any communications. We believe they're here because of the horizon," added Intelligence Director Soman Han. "We've never had confirmed alien contact before, yet weeks after this ship returns, they appear. That's not coincidence." The room fell silent as Dr. Tali was escorted in under guard. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the tension around him. "You knew they would come," Hannah accused. Ta nodded. "The architects are not the only advanced beings in our galaxy. Others have followed different evolutionary paths, and some fear what the architects represent." "And what exactly do they represent that's so frightening?" demanded the Defense Secretary. "Cooperation rather than conquest," Tay replied. "Most advanced civilizations either destroy themselves or expand through domination. The architects offer a third path, true symbiosis between biological and technological evolution." He turned to face the large screen showing the approaching alien vessels. Those ships belong to the Coalition of Purity. They believe biological life should remain unchanged, developing technology only as external tools, never integrated. They've destroyed other civilizations that accepted the architect's gifts. So you've made us a target, Hannah said, her voice hard. Taz smiled. No, Commander. We've given you the means to defend yourselves. He looked around the table. The Horizon carries technologies that can protect Earth, but only if you're willing to accept them as they're meant to be used. And how is that? The President asked. The ship doesn't just respond to consciousness, it amplifies it. It was designed to be guided by human minds, not controlled by them. Ta's eyes met Hannah's. Your brother understood this. He was the first to truly connect with the ship's systems. Hannah felt a chill run down her spine. Is that what happened to the crew? They became part of the ship. Not exactly, Ta said. They became more than they were, while remaining themselves. The question now is whether Earth is ready to do the same. Outside, in the endless dark of space, the alien vessels continued their approach, their intentions unknown but their timing unmistakable. Researcher Jun Kim sat alone in his lab at midnight, reviewing security footage from the Horizon's interior. For weeks, the scientists had focused on the ship's impossible technologies, while military leaders worried about the approaching alien fleet. But Jun had noticed something odd about Dr. Ta Li's behavior. On the screen, Ta walked through an empty corridor, speaking animatedly, as if having a conversation, though no one was there. Jun increased the audio. Need more time before full disclosure, Todd was saying. They're not ready to understand the complete integration yet. Jun leaned closer as Tai paused, seeming to listen to a response no one else could hear. Yes, Du-Yun, I understand your sister is different, but even she might reject us if she learns everything at once. Jun's heart raced. Commander Park's brother was supposedly gone with the rest of the crew, yet Tai was speaking to him as if he were present. The lab door slid open. Startling June Commander Hannah Park stood in the doorway, her expression grim. You requested to see me urgently, she asked. Jun nodded, rewinding the footage. Watch this. Your brother's name is mentioned. As Hannah watched, her face paled. When the clip ended, she sat down heavily. There's more, Jun said. I've been analyzing the ship's energy patterns. Look at these wavelength readings. He displayed a series of undulating lines on his screen. These are from the ship's power core, he explained. And these, he pulled up another set of waves, are human brainwave patterns. The similarities are impossible to miss. What are you suggesting? Hannah asked quietly. I think the ship's core technology is somehow integrated with human consciousness, specifically the consciousness of the Horizon's original crew. Hannah stared at the matching patterns. My brother isn't dead. Not in the conventional sense, Jun agreed. I believe the crew's minds were somehow preserved and integrated into the ship itself. That's why Tai talks to empty rooms. They're not empty to him. Jun's computer suddenly beeped. Someone's accessing my research files. His fingers flew across the keyboard. It's coming from inside the ship, but there's no one logged into those terminals. The lights in the lab flickered. On Jun's screen, a message appeared. Find U.S. India Core. Hannah and Jun exchanged looks before heading to the ship. Security was minimal at this late hour, and they made their way to the central chamber that housed the Horizon's power core. A spherical room, now filled with pulsing blue light and flowing metallic surfaces. Du-Yun, Hannah called out. Are you here? The surfaces of the room rippled like water. Suddenly, shapes began to form in the metallic walls, human faces pushing forward as if through a membrane. Hannah gasped as her brother's features appeared, his expression serene yet somehow distant. Hannah, the face said, its voice echoing strangely. You found us. The ship is us now, Du-Yun continued, and we are the ship, not lost, just transformed. Jun approached one of the walls. Why didn't Ta tell us the truth? Because of them, said another face, Captain Solomon Lee, the Horizon's commander. The aliens approaching Earth fear the architects because they offer a different path of evolution. They've destroyed other civilizations that accepted this gift. The room suddenly darkened as alarms began blaring throughout the base. Jun's communicator buzzed with an emergency alert. "The alien fleet has accelerated," he read aloud. "They'll reach Earth in 48 hours. Du Yun's face grew serious. "They're coming to destroy us. And Earth too, if necessary. They detected our return and know what we represent." "What do they want?" Hannah asked. "They call themselves the Coalition of Purity," Captain Lee explained. "They believe consciousness should remain purely biological. They see the architect's gifts as contamination." "But what can we do?" Jun asked. "Earth's weapons are nothing compared to their technology." Du Yun's face turned toward his sister. "The Horizon can defend Earth, Hannah. We have the technology now. But we need a bridge, someone who can direct our power while maintaining their individual consciousness and humanity." "You want one of us to join you," she realized. "Not join us," Du Yun corrected. "Work with us. The integration can be partial, temporary. But we need someone who understands both military strategy and human values to guide us." Hannah stared at her brother's face in the metallic wall. "You're asking me?" "Yes," all the faces said in unison. "Only you can save Earth now." Outside, in the command center, screens lit up with urgent warnings as the alien fleet's weapons began powering up. Time was running out. The United Nations Security Council chamber was filled to capacity. On the large screen at the front of the room, images showed the alien fleet, 7 vessels of unknown design, now holding position just beyond the moon. Their message, broadcast simultaneously to every communications device on Earth 12 hours ago, had been clear and devastating. "Surrender the corrupted vessel and all individuals exposed to architect technology within 24 hours, or we will sterilize your world. The infection must not spread." General Minnan addressed the emergency session, his voice grave. "Our best weapons cannot penetrate their shields. If they attack, we have no effective defense." President Jun stood. "Have we received any response to our attempts at negotiation?" "Only one, Madam President," replied Ambassador Han. "They said, and I quote, 'There is nothing to discuss. The architect seed must be destroyed before germination. Your species' survival depends on compliance.'" The room erupted in debate. Some nations argued for immediate surrender of the Horizon. Others insisted that humanity should never bow to threats. In a secure bunker beneath the desert facility, Commander Hannah Park sat across from Dr. Ta Li. Between them was a small device extracted from the Horizon, a metallic cube that pulsed with soft blue light. "Explain it again," Hannah demanded. "What exactly would happen if I agree to this partial integration?" Ta's unnaturally calm expression never wavered. "You would maintain your individual consciousness and identity, but gain the ability to directly interface with the Horizon's systems. Your mind would be the bridge between human understanding and the ship's capabilities. And the risks. The process has never been attempted with someone who wasn't dying," Tai admitted. "There could be changes to how you perceive reality." Researcher Jun entered the room, looking exhausted. "The coalition ships have deployed smaller vessels. They're forming a perimeter around Earth." Hannah stood and paced the small room. "Even if I agree and somehow it works, what could one ship do against 7 advanced alien vessels?" "The Horizon isn't just one ship anymore," Ta said quietly. "The architect's technology allows for conversion of energy to matter and back again at will. With the right guidance, the ship could become many, or weapons we can't even describe in human terms." Jun looked skeptical. "That violates conservation of mass and energy. Only within the limited physics you understand," Tai replied. Hannah stopped pacing. "I want to speak with my brother again." They returned to the Horizon's core chamber, where Du Yun's face formed in the metallic wall. "The aliens have given their ultimatum," Hannah told him. They want the ship and everyone who's been exposed to its technology. If you surrender us, they'll still destroy all research related to the architects. Duyum said, humanity will lose the opportunity to advance beyond the limitations of your current technology. And there's no guarantee they won't return later to ensure no trace remains. But if I agree to this integration, what happens to me? Will I still be myself? Hannah asked, her voice betraying her fear. Duyum's expression softened. I'm still me, Hannah. Different, but still your brother. You would remain yourself, but with expanded awareness. Security alarms suddenly blared. Jun checked his communicator. They're moving. The alien fleet has advanced closer to Earth. On screens throughout the facility, they watched as one of the alien vessels fired on a military satellite, destroying it instantly. A demonstration, Ta said grimly. Their patience is ending. Hannah's communicator buzzed with a priority message from President Jun. Coalition has reduced deadline to 6 hours. Global military forces on highest alert. Please advise if Horizon Technology offers any options. Hannah looked at her brother's face in the wall, then at Ta. If I do this, and we somehow succeed, what happens afterward? Would I be trapped in the ship forever? The integration can be reversed, Ta assured her. The architects believe in cooperation, not assimilation. You would be the first to try this process willingly, with full awareness. Hannah took a deep breath. And if we fail? Then humanity faces the same fate either way, Duyun said. But at least we will have tried. Outside, the alien vessels moved into attack formation. Earth's combined military forces mobilized, knowing they faced technology centuries beyond their capabilities. Hannah closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them with new resolve. How do we begin? Tai approached with the pulsing blue cube. Place your hands on this. It will establish the initial connection. As Hannah reached for the device, she thought of Earth's billions of people, unaware that their fate rested on this moment. She thought of her brother, transformed but not lost. Most of all, she thought of the choice before her, surrender to fear or embrace the unknown. Her fingers touched the cool metal surface, which immediately responded to her presence, flowing up to envelop her hands. Remember who you are, Duyun said as the blue light began to spread up her arms. That's what makes us human, not our physical form. The countdown to humanity's deadline continued as the light surrounded Hannah completely. The sensation began as a tingling in Hannah's fingertips. Then came the expansion, her awareness suddenly stretching beyond her physical body, flowing outward through the Horizon's systems. She could feel the ship as if it were an extension of herself, every circuit and component humming with energy that responded to her thoughts. Hannah. Jum's voice seemed distant, though he stood right beside her. Are you still with us? She opened her eyes, which now shimmered with the same blue light that pulsed through the ship. I'm here. And elsewhere too. Through the Horizon's sensors, she could perceive the alien fleet in ways human instruments never could. She saw energy patterns, communication signals, weapon systems, all laid bare to her enhanced perception. They're preparing to fire on major cities, she said. We have minutes, not hours. Ta nodded. What will you do? Hannah didn't answer with words. Instead, the entire ship vibrated as systems activated throughout its structure. Outside, the desert ground trembled as the Horizon lifted effortlessly into the air for the first time since its return. In command centers worldwide, military leaders watched in astonishment as the transformed Earth vessel shot upward at impossible speed, reaching orbit in seconds. President Jun stared at the tracking screens. Get me any information on what's happening up there. The Coalition flagship detected the Horizon's approach and immediately fired energy weapons more powerful than anything Earth had ever created. The beams struck the Horizon directly, but instead of destroying it, they seemed to be absorbed, the energy flowing across its surface in rippling patterns. Inside the ship, Hannah felt the attack as pressure against her expanded consciousness. Instinctively, she directed the energy, reshaping it, transforming it. "They don't understand," she said, her voice overlaid with harmonics that made Jun step back. "They see only threat or submission, never cooperation." Through her connection with the horizon, Hannah could access the knowledge the architects had shared with the original crew. She understood now why the Coalition feared this technology. It represented a fundamental shift in evolution, where consciousness could exist beyond biological limitations without losing its essential humanity. The horizon began to change shape, portions of its hull flowing outward to form smaller vessels that remained connected to the main ship through threads of energy. Through each, Hannah extended her awareness, creating a network that surrounded the alien fleet. The Coalition ships fired again, this time at Earth directly. Hannah felt the deadly energy building and reacted instantly. The Horizon's offspring vessels positioned themselves in the path of the attack, absorbing the destructive force and channeling it back through the network to the main ship. "Now," she whispered. From the horizon, a pulse of energy expanded outward, not a weapon, but a wave that temporarily disabled the Coalition ship's main systems. As they drifted powerless, Hannah opened a communication channel. "You came to destroy what you fear without understanding." Her voice echoed across space to the alien vessels and back to Earth's communication systems. But fear is not the only response to difference. Using the ship's technology, she transmitted images directly into the Coalition commanders' minds, showing the truth of the architect technology, how it amplified rather than replaced, how it offered partnership instead of dominance. "I remain human," she continued. "My consciousness is my own, merely extended. The architects do not conquer or assimilate. They offer a gift that must be freely accepted." After a tense silence, the lead Coalition ship responded. "This is unexpected. Our experience with architect technology has only shown corruption of biological life. Perhaps because those encounters were forced rather than chosen," Hannah replied. "I chose this connection, and I can end it. That choice makes all the difference." Slowly, power returned to the alien vessels, but their weapons remained inactive. "We require time to consider this. Alternative understanding," the Coalition commander transmitted. "We will withdraw to observe, but remain vigilant." As the alien ships began to retreat, cheers erupted in command centers across Earth. President Jun ordered worldwide celebrations, declaring it humanity's first victory as a united species. The horizon descended back to the Nevada desert, its temporary extensions reabsorbing into the main structure. Inside, the blue light surrounding Hannah gradually receded, returning to the cube she still held. She gasped as her awareness contracted back to normal human perception, feeling suddenly confined after such expansion. "Are you all right?" Jun asked, supporting her as she swayed. "Yes," she said, her voice her own again. "Different, but still me." In the metallic walls, Du-Yun's face appeared. "You've shown them another way, a balance between advancement and identity." Taz smiled. "And you've shown humanity its potential future." Beyond the ship, government officials and scientists approached cautiously, eager to understand what had happened. The world had changed irrevocably. Earth was now known to the wider galaxy, and humans had access to technology that could transform their civilization. "What happens now?" Jun asked. Hannah looked at her hands, still faintly glowing with residual energy. "Now we learn to walk a new path, neither fearing the future nor being consumed by it. Technology advancing humanity without replacing what makes us human." The light of a new dawn broke over the horizon, symbolic of the new era beginning for Earth.